Hello, my name is Matt Bird, and welcome to the PublishU podcast, where we explore the real life stories of authors from around the world. Today, I'm talking to Ingrid Fear from Greater London, who has written a book called Navigate Your Storm. Ingrid, you're very welcome.
Thank you, Matt. I am so excited to be here. I am super excited to have this conversation.
Yes, well, it's great. And I first met you actually in your garden, I seem to remember.
You did. We were having some kind of big celebration.
I don't know whose celebration it was or
No
what it was
idea.
marking, but
No idea.
but you have a lovely view from the back of your home down to the river, don't you?
Absolutely. And it's in fact where I wrote my book down the bottom of the garden, where I've got a beautiful little stream that runs down the bottom and found that very inspirational space to be with.
Wow. Yeah, I
Mhm.
am always interested to know where authors write their books, and for you to write yours by the stream, beautiful.
There you go. You never
Anyway,
knew.
let's come to you, Ingrid. Tell
Yeah.
us what is it you do?
Oh, my
What is your
goodness.
day job?
My paid job or my day job?
Your day job?
Day job. I am a leadership trainer and facilitator and a well-being coach. So I work with people on a global scale, and see them through their leadership challenges, enabling them to, I guess, reflect and sail through leadership into a space that I guess is good for them as an individual as well as their team.
Yeah.
Mm.
Right. So, do you have any clients you particularly like working with?
Ooh.
I mean, I'm not asking you to name anybody, but
No, no, I hear.
the sorts of clients that you love working with.
Yes. Oh my goodness. My favorites are the clients that are in fact open to self-reflection and open to change, open to recognizing that there is more to just sailing through, pushing through. And to give you an example, I'm working with a MD at the moment, for a very large company who is super young, to be an MD. And I guess what happens is they have this self-doubt and this constant inner challenge that goes on within them as to whether they deserve to be there. They lose confidence because they were sailing through up front. And then when they get into this amazing, powerful position, they're like, oh my God, am I worthy of this space? And how do I, in fact, manage my future? And how do I bring my team with me? So,
Amazing.
yeah.
Wow, what a privilege to work with people in that kind of a role.
Yeah.
So, Ingrid, what was it that first inspired you to
Mhm.
think, I'm going to write a book? I mean, where did that idea come from?
Oh my earth. How long have you got? So, I've always, no, that's wrong. I was going to say I always wanted to write a book. Now, I have wanted to write a book probably for about 15 odd years. And
So nearly always.
nearly, because the celebration was just the other day,
Sure,
wasn't it?
sure.
Yeah. So, and it was when people said to me, "How do you get through life so well, knowing what I had been through?"
Mm,
And so at that point, I thought I need to share my story.
yeah,
And what inspired me to answer your question was to leave a legacy behind.
yeah,
And it wasn't necessarily about me, but it was being able to share the story and inspire other people that they can overcome challenge themselves. It
mm,
doesn't have to be a big challenge, but
yeah,
it was really to inspire
yeah.
others.
Hence your title, Navigate Your Storm,
Correct.
whether it be
Yeah.
a small one or a big one or something in between.
Exactly that. It doesn't matter what size the storm is of life, but certainly we can all get through these things.
We
Yeah,
can, we
yeah.
can. And so, obviously you've written extensively about this in your book, but what are your top three tips Ingrid, for navigating your storm. I mean, people are listening now and they're probably on their edge of the seats like me thinking, oh my goodness, Ingrid, drop me some wisdom. I need to know. Tell me, what three tips can you give the listener right now from your book that can help them navigate the storm?
Oh my earth. Okay. So I think the first thing, my go-to is live by your value system. Too often we don't hit the pause button to reflect and reevaluate our values. So the first one is to live by your value system. The other one is to have self-belief and make sure that you are being kind to yourself in thought. And the last one is to make sure that you hit the pause button daily to reflect upon how you have got yourself through the day, what great things you've achieved that day. I talk about my ta-da. May I share my ta-da?
Yeah, please. What's the ta-da? I'm
Ta-da,
intrigued.
ta-da. You
Ta-da! That kind of
ta-da,
ta-da.
exactly that. You know, when you go to sleep at night, and
Yeah.
every time we go to sleep, we're like, oh my God, I have not achieved this, I haven't achieved that, I haven't achieved that. And so what we do is we create this to-do list for tomorrow. So we go to bed stressed. I'm saying, reverse that. Say, what have I achieved today? What did I do really well, as small as it might be? And you list your achievements for the day, and then you go, ta-da, and you go to sleep.
So not to do, ta-da. So to
To-
do in the morning, ta-da at night. I
Correct.
love that, Ingrid.
Correct.
I love that. And your pause, you know, many people say, oh, find a time once a month to pause, once a week to pause. But you're saying actually find a time once a day to
Correct.
pause.
Yeah. Yeah.
And besides the ta-da
Mhm.
before you go to sleep, what else would you suggest we do in that pause that we take every day?
Yeah, and I think this is where it's all about habits, isn't it? It's about bringing in new habits into our life. And I think what we, sort of generalization, what we tend to do is think about a pause moment as being a big, somber, intense moment where I'm sitting and churning over.
Yeah,
Exactly that. It does not have to be. It's literally 5 minutes to yourself.
yeah,
5 minutes to yourself today to think, how am I? What have I? How am I being, in fact, right
yeah.
now? How have I? What kind of thoughts have I had today? So
Mm,
5 minutes in whatever time of day works for you,
yeah,
whether it's having a cup of tea, staring at the bees on the flowers, if you're lucky enough to be in the summer months, um,
yeah.
or just really 5 minutes to meditate, 5 minutes to pray, 5 minutes to just have nothing going on in your head.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. It's
Mm,
it's a reset.
yeah. And it's amazing. We ask throughout the day, oh, how are you?
Hmm.
We're asking other people how they are all the time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
actually pausing and saying, how am I?
Mm. So, you might be familiar with this. In my book, at the beginning, I talk about I greet people with the word that is an African word, which is sawubona, and it comes from a Zulu, the Zulu nation. And to your point, Matt, where we say, hi, how are you? The Zulu people, and there are other nations around the world that do this, they say sawubona, and they look you in the eye. And what it really means is how are you? How are you? And how is everything behind you? And
Yeah.
how is all those that are with you? And
Yeah.
once that greeting has the pause moment actually happens in the greeting, and
Mm.
then we move on into life. And I think we can take a lot from that little phrase of sawubona.
So born. I'll have to practice my pronunciation, but
Yes,
I think I'm barely there.
that was good.
So, so Ingrid, you had this idea that you wanted to write your story down, leave a legacy.
Mhm.
Um, you know, what was it? And you did then when we met, I think we met at the gym actually, first of all,
We
first off.
did. We did.
What really helped you about the Writing My Book course? What was it about the coaching journey that helped you the most?
Yeah. Well, as you know, Matt, I absolutely love the process that you took us through. So for me, it was the commitment of time that was in the diary. What I particularly loved was the upfront time to reflect, ironically, and think about what it was that our why. Why were we actually wanting to write this book? So it was that. And then the accountability of getting us through certain paces, sort of taking us further into the process of writing the book. I certainly would not have been able to write the book without that. I learned so much through that process. It was fantastic. It was like going back to school, Matt, and just learning English again as well. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So I think it was the accountability,
Yeah,
the bite-sized chunks, but also with a very clear vision of where we were going
yeah,
ultimately.
yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Thank you.
And Ingrid, what was the greatest obstacle that you
Mm.
had to overcome in writing your book?
Good question. I think for myself, it was really about the two. One is the vulnerability of sharing my story,
Yeah.
uh, and the second one, the practicalities of being clear about where things were going to land. So the actual the format of how I was going to share my story and share the hints and tips that I've got. I sort of jiggled things around. I couldn't
Yeah.
quite work out that. So it was really about where things went.
Yeah, yeah. But you landed them. And now your book is published worldwide. I mean,
Ta-da!
ta-da! Ta-da! How do you feel now your book is globally available, Ingrid?
Super proud, super proud. I feel super humbled, in fact. Um, and yeah, it's just such a massive achievement. And it is quite interesting when I talk to people about my book being available on Amazon. I actually said yesterday, somebody said, well, where is it? I said, wherever Amazon is, I am.
What? Oh, nearly omnipotent, omnipresent.
And so, but it's interesting. I didn't seek status, but it does escalate status in the eyes of others. It's super interesting for me. But for me, it's
Yeah.
about pride, and um, I feel humbled that I can share my story to hopefully help
Mhm.
others. Yeah.
That's amazing. And it leads into my closing question, really, Ingrid, which is, what is your hope of what your book achieves?
Wow. I hope that if it impacts one person in this world, I've made a difference to this world. If it impacts just one person, that they recognize that they are A, not alone going through challenge, and B, that they can reach out to others for help and support. So I would ideally like a butterfly effect, but one person would be fantastic.
And I'm sure there'll be many, Ingrid. That is so beautiful. And thank you for joining us. And thank you all for listening to the PublishU podcast, featuring the real life stories of authors from around the world. If you're interested in becoming an author like Ingrid, please visit our website, www.publishu, the letter u.com, publishu.com. And if you enjoyed this broadcast, make sure you subscribe for more. Thank you so much for joining us, and goodbye for now.